Hello, my name is Rebecca. I hope you all can hear me okay. I will be leading the class today. I just wanted to introduce Hands to Heart Center. Hands to Heart Center Yoga for the People is a nonprofit organization that shares the healing practice of yoga with people affected by addiction, poverty, and trauma in Greater Boston. Hands to Heart Center Yoga would like to thank the Boston Public Library for partnering with us on this virtual project. Thank you so much, everyone who's joining us live or looking at this video down the line to support your home practice. I'm going to just be doing a pretty low and slow beginner's practice today that I hope is a really nice way for you to unwind at the end of the week. So we can all start by getting onto our mats or any space you have available in your home, and just start by lying down. I'm just going to check the volume here. All right. So you can lower yourself down on your mat like so. And just lie in a comfortable position. Again, it could be a rug in your living room, even your bed is fine. And just take a few moments to land and start to let go of your day, of your week, of everything that happened for you to get here. And remind yourself that you are here now. Start to pay attention to your breath here, noticing the breath as it moves in and slowly out. If you are rushing to get here, you've had a nerve-wracking day, the breath might feel a little jaggedy, choppy. For others, you might find that the breath is already smooth and soft. But however you are arriving today, just take the time to notice it. And I invite you now to focus on the sensation of the air moving through your nostrils, through your nose. So as you breathe in through your nose, pay attention to that sensation around your nostrils. And then as you breathe out, again, just notice that feeling in your nostrils. And this can be a surprising subtle sensation, but that's one of the nice things about doing it is we kind of have to quiet down a little bit to be able to feel it and even hear it maybe. So noticing the breath as it moves in through your nostrils, noticing the breath as it moves out through your nostrils, and taking just another few breaths this way. Feeling the breath move in through the nose, down through the throat and into the chest, and then back out again. So now we're going to shift the way that we're breathing a little bit, and I invite you to place your hands on your lower abdomen here, and you're going to pretend there is a balloon within your belly here, and as you inhale, you're going to blow that balloon up. So I'll demonstrate that now. So you're really puffing it up. This can feel a little bit awkward the first few times, but kind of just keep trying to sort of move your hands out and in as you breathe. So breathing in, let the belly expand and the hands move up. And out, the hands fall back down as the belly draws in on the exhale. So breathing in, let the belly become big and even push against the hands a little bit. Not inviting too much tension, but you can sort of push a little bit here on that inhale. And then exhale, let the hands fall back down and the belly draw in. So keep breathing this way for a little while longer. A nice thing about this breath is oftentimes when we're stressed, a lot of us will grip the diaphragm, which is this area just around the lower ribs that makes it hard for us to breathe in a smooth and calm way. And by pushing the belly out in this way that I just showed you to breathe, it can help the diaphragm expand and sometimes let go a little bit. So you might notice that your ribs start to, feel a little softer in that area. So one more time, again, breathing into the hands, letting the belly expand, and exhale, letting the belly drop down. And now place your hands on your middle ribs here, below the breasts. And we're going to switch again the breath here to sort of be a more expansive, broad, wide breath. So again, you're going to move the ribs now into the hands. So the hands are going to be pushed out again, but this time because of the ribs becoming broad. So I don't know if you can see that. I'll sit up to show you. You can stay lying down. I'm exaggerating it a little bit for you to see, but you're breathing in. So hopefully you could see that the ribs now are moving sideways as we breathe. So you can stay lying down and just try that a few times. So breathing in, let the ribs become wide. And now you might feel the whole lung is expanding now. And exhale, release. Inhale, let the ribs become wide. Exhale and release. And even though this might not feel supernatural right away, I would encourage you to try to bring some softness here, not to push it too much, just sort of more have a curious mindset to see just what comes today. It might be, just a little bit of a lateral movement. That's okay. For others, it could be big. It doesn't really matter. It's more just about noticing where you're at. You can do this a few more times. Breathing in, expanding into the hands, and breathing out. And now the last breath exercise that we'll do just as we arrive here before starting, the more gross movements is you can place the hands all the way at the top of the chest here. This one, I'm curious to see how you find it. Sometimes it can be a little bit harder to feel. But this time we're going to try to, again, breathe into our hands. And you'll kind of feel like you're one of those birds who's puffing up their chests as you breathe up into your hands and the very top part of your chest expands. So you, again, can stay lying down. I'm just going to sit up to show this to you so you can really see what I'm talking about. So as you breathe in, so breathe in and the chest will expand up. Like you're a bird, their chest puffing up. And breathe out. Coming back to neutral. So the lungs, even though we kind of tend to think of the lungs in this area, they actually go all the way up past the collarbone here. So we really can get some deep breaths in at the very top of the chest here. So just keep trying that. You might notice maybe you love the belly, maybe you liked this, maybe you don't like, the top of the ribs or vice versa. That's okay. If there was any specific one that you like the best, maybe that can be the one that you bring into your home practice. So let's just do this a few more times, keeping your hands on your ribs as you're lying down, breathing into the hands to expand the chest, and then exhaling to let it go. Okay, so I'm going to lie back down to join you here. Now we're going to start to bring a little bit of movement, and I'm going to do a warm-up where we start from our toes and end up all the way at the top of our body, kind of greeting each part of our body as we go. So let's start with our little toes here. So you can just start by wiggling them however you like. Our toes, we can wiggle them up and down. We can also open up our toes like this, kind of out to the side. I'm showing you with my hands, so it's probably easier to see. But just play around with this, with all the different ways that your toes can move and spread. And now we can move to the ankle. So you can lift up one leg here and move your ankle up and down. Move your ankle side to side, sort of rocking side to side here. And you can do a full circle the other way. And lower the foot back down. And now this time we'll lift the other leg. So you can hold your abs a little bit just to support your back as you lift that other leg. And I'll just show my foot here. So again, you can point up and down, and you can play here. You don't need to follow me exactly. Rock the foot side to side, maybe do some circles one way, and some circles the other way. And lower the foot down. And now I promised you we're going to work up. So now we're going to use the feet to wake up the legs. So we can start by tapping our toes like this on the ground. And you notice pretty quickly once you start doing that, you probably are going to feel the backs of the calves, maybe the backs of the thighs as well, the hamstrings. And you can try to go faster. The other thing that happens is the more you do this, the whole body becomes involved. So you might even feel your head rocking back and forth here. So you're actually starting to bring movement into the whole body just by tapping your feet. And now let's do the opposite. So let's drop our heels heavy down. Great. And release. And now let's draw the knee into the chest here to kind of bring the action all the way up into our hips. So you can wrap the fingers behind the knee and draw the knee into the chest. You can inhale, and on that exhale, release through the belly like we did earlier, and see if the knee will move in anymore. You don't need to force it, but you might just find there's a little bit more space. So again, inhale and exhale. See if you found a little bit more space. Release through that hip, release through the groin, and drop the leg heavy down into the chest. And lower back down. Now let's do the other side. So wrapping your hands behind the knee and draw the knee into the chest. Slowly lower down on an exhale again. So inhale and exhale as the belly recedes. You might find that that leg can go a little bit deeper in. So really letting the hip and the groin let go. Letting that leg really be heavy. Be sure you're not holding tension in your shoulders or in your neck, your throat, your jaw here. It's really about letting the leg move in and getting a little flexion in those hips and maybe even a release in the lower back. And now you can release down. And now we're going to do it again like this, but this time I'm going to put my hands on top of the shin, and you can try straightening that bottom leg. And this time we're going to press through both heels strongly, and you'll probably feel a good stretch through the front of that bottom leg here. Might be challenging to straighten that leg completely, so if that's the case, you can let this knee go a little bit, straighten the leg, and then see how much you can draw it in again. And lower the foot down. And now bend the left leg in and slide that heel along the floor, pressing the heels out in front of you. So you're really using your leg muscles here to extend through the front of the leg and get a really deep hip stretch. And again, you can let this top knee go a little bit if it helps to straighten the bottom leg And then once you feel like it's really nice and straight, pressing as straight as it can possibly be, see if you can draw the knee in any more. And exhale, lower that left foot down, bend both knees. And now let's do one more stretch here. So this time I'm gonna grab the back of the leg. If you're super flexy, you could try grabbing the toes, or if you had a strap, you could loop it around the foot here and hold on like this. But for the rest of us who don't have either of those things, we'll just hold behind the leg here and reach up, 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 up through the heel to straighten that leg and get a really nice deep stretch through the whole back of the leg. So you're really reaching through that heel as if you're going to stamp it on the ceiling. Again, making sure you're not holding tension in your shoulders, neck, jaw, or even your eyeballs here. You're just stretching the leg and lower it back down. And now go to the other side and reach through that heel. So you're stamping the heel up onto the ceiling. Imagine that's how long your leg can get. Really trying to make sure there's no bend in the knee. And if you're kind of over here and you need to straighten the knee by lowering the leg in front of you a little bit, that's okay too. Just hold on to that leg and reach through the heel. And lowering back down. So now we've got the legs pretty awake now, I think. Let's get some movement into the lower back. So we'll just start by putting our arms out to the side, making sure your feet are fairly broad, and just gently rock your knees from side to side. And you don't need to go too far, too deep right now. We're just kind of starting out really gently to wake up that lower spine. So you're kind of reaching your knee almost out in front of you as it drops down into the center. And you can use your breath rhythmically here. Don't forget about your breath, breathing in and out as your knees rock. And hopefully you're sort of naturally feeling the movement in your lower back. And maybe as you go, it's getting a little bit bigger and up into your middle spine. And you can even now look with your neck gently to the other side, so to the opposite side that your knees are falling. So if your knees fall to the left, you can look to the right, reaching your knee as far away from your head as you can. And then to the other side, so knees drop to the right, and you can look away, reaching your knee out in front of you. And again, knees to the left, look to the right. I'm still not letting my knees drop to the floor. It's not too deep of a twist here. And again, to the other side. Great, and now we're gonna really get that upper spine that we might not have hit in that last one. So you're gonna bring your hands up together in front of you. Your elbows are straight, and you're just gonna rock your hands from one side of the shoulder to the other. And again, we'll start with a small action. You can stay just looking up at the ceiling. You don't need to turn your head or anything. You're just moving the arms from one side of the shoulders to the other. Continuing to breathe here as you rock. And I would say you can definitely, think of it as you're rocking on the back ribs here. So rocking from one side of the back ribs, rolling through the middle, rocking to the other side of the back ribs, rolling through the middle, rocking to the other side. And as you go, again, the action might get a little bit bigger here. Rocking to one side, reaching through the hands, elbows stay straight, rocking through the middle and onto the other side of the ribs, reaching through the arms as the elbows stay straight. And at this point, your head's probably coming with you too. You're really getting a lot of movement through your upper back, Keeping your hips parallel and your feet down. It's really just the upper back here that's getting some movement. Let's just rock a couple more times to each side. Come back to middle and open your arms out to the side for a big open stretch of the chest. Bring your hands down beside you. And now we're going to get, again, the whole spine and really the whole back of the body involved. So we're going to press through our heels and feet, press through our shoulders, and lift up. Reach through your knees. So you're sort of like reaching forward in front of you and lowering back down. And again, pressing through the backs of your shoulders, through your heels, reaching through your knees as you lift up. And now we'll just lower halfway and then back up. Halfway down and then back up. Halfway down, back up. Halfway down, back up. I won't do this forever, I promise. And now we can lower all the way down. Taking a deep breath here, releasing any tension you might have been holding. Hopefully you weren't. And now let's try it again. So pressing through the back of the shoulders and through the heels, you're going to lift back up. Now lower slightly, and now we're going to rock to the outsides of our feet so the knees move out and in. So now we're really targeting the glutes. You probably feel that almost instantly. I do at least. And let's just do this 5 more times. So 5, 4, letting go of any tension in the face. 3, 2, and 1. Come back to center and slowly lower down vertebrae by vertebrae. And exhale to land. Now you can draw your knees in just to release any tension in the lower back. And we'll roll all the way over to the right side. Come onto your hands and knees. And again, to get that long feeling through the spine, you're going to lower your buttocks down to the heels and walk your hands forward in front of you into child's pose. And you can rest the head down onto the mat here. So your hips are heavy, as are your hands, pressing down to the mat. And now we're going to exaggerate this a little bit. So you're keeping your hips down. I'm going to look up, and then I'm going to pop my hands up like this, like little spiders, like that. Like little tents, I guess. And you're going to see if you can keep your hips back and walk your fingers in front of you to get maximum length through the whole side of your body. So make you sort of like this. And you're going to tent your fingers, get longer, 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 longer. Looking in front of you. Once you've hit your maximum, lower the head down, lower the hands down. And take a few breaths here. Now bringing your hands up to your shoulders, you can come up to hands and knees, like so, and we'll do a little bit of cat-cow here. So starting the action at your pelvis, we're going to rock the pelvis forward. Look up slightly with the eyes, and now rock the pelvis down. Let the spine curl and the head drop. So rocking the pelvis forward and rocking the pelvis down and letting that movement go through your entire spine until the head drops down. Keeping the breath here as you rhythmically rock through the spine. And just enjoying the opportunity to get some action and activity and movement through the spine. I know I spend a lot of my day sitting at a desk, hunched over a computer. So if you can relate to that, this is something that's really nice for your spine health. I'll come back to neutral, and now we're going to do a different kind of cat-cow where we're moving sideways, we're moving laterally. So I'm going to stay looking down at my mat, but I'm going to try to imagine that the top of my head and the bottom of my pelvis are going to meet each other. So it's going to be a side bend. So I'm pressing out through the side ribs and imagining that the top of my head is going to reach all the way around to my back hips there. So again, moving rhythmically with the breath, rocking through the hips. Great, and coming back to neutral. Now just to reset a little bit, we're gonna maintain your pelvic tilt. So you don't wanna curl under like this. You're in your neutral pelvic tilt here. And now we'll just glide the hips back a few times just to kind of reset in a symmetrical way. Exhale, rock back. And again, being sure that when you rock back, you don't curl the buttocks under. So you keep the buttocks kind of pointing towards the back wall. Great. And now we've moved the spine up and down. We've done side to side. Now we're going to do a little bit of a gentle twist. So you're going to reach one hand up like this, up to your shoulder to get a gentle twist. Reach it back down. And do the same on the other side. So you're pressing through that base hand and reaching up and back down. Pressing through that base hand to extend through the chest. And back down. Inhale. And exhale. And now this time we're going to inhale. And I'm going to slide the hand through the other side and see if I can lower my shoulder all the way down. So I'm keeping this hand pressing into the ground. The opposite shoulder is resting on the ground. And you can continue to press that hand to kind of accentuate the twist. Two more breaths here. And press through that hand to come back up to neutral. And I'm just going to tuck in my shirt. And we can rock a few times to each side. So we're sort of balanced out here. Okay, and now let's go to the other side. So reach up and now reach that hand through the other arm. Pressing the hand down and lifting up through the lifted shoulder here to really get a nice deep spinal twist. Pressing the hand down. And now finally, you're going to start to stand up. So you can curl your toes back behind you, press into your hands, and push up into a downward dog. So we're pressing through the shoulders here to get a nice long line, lifting the hips up, straightening the legs, and reaching the heels back behind you, and seeing if they will touch the floor today. Mine usually don't. Again, pressing through the hands, locking through the elbows, lifting through the shoulders, reaching up through the hips, and reaching back with the heels, feeling like your feet are becoming bigger because your heels are reaching back behind you so far. And now walk your feet into your hands. And we can have your feet fairly wide here so they can be like a bit wider than your hips. And you can just hold your elbows and take a minute here in a forward bend. If it's very uncomfortable to have straight legs, you can bend your knees a little, that's fine. But really just letting the sides of your waist be long. Your elbows are heavy. And your neck is really releasing here. So to remind your neck that it can release, you can shake your head a little bit like you're saying you're nodding yes to someone. And then you can also shake your head no in this position. Now let's switch which elbows you're holding. So just switch like that, probably the way that feels a little funky. Take another exhale. Let your elbows really be heavy as you extend on the sides of the waist. Put your hands on your hips and slowly come up to stand. And I'm just going to move the computer back a little bit so you can see me properly. Okay. So now we are finally standing, just like I promised. So you can have your feet hips distance apart, and making sure that your knees are over your ankles. So you're not hanging forward or hanging back or anything like that. Your knees are over the ankles. Your hips are over the knees. Lifting your chest up like that. So you have a nice stacked and proud sort of mountain pose here. And we're going to roll the shoulders back and actually reach actively through those fingertips down into the ground. So again, your heels are like spikes reaching down into the ground. Your knees are lifted. Your chest is lifted. Making sure sometimes we go like this, but see how my chin is sort of, you're going like that. You want to make sure your chest is lifting and your spine is just your head is just sort of floating above your body there. Trying to get that proper alignment. Great. And now we're going to inhale and reach the arms up. Step back a little bit more. If you have any shoulder issues, you can always come up a little bit wider, like in a Y. But if this doesn't work for you because of a shoulder injury, you can just reach your hands strongly behind you like that, okay? But for the rest of us, we'll reach the arms above, reaching up through the fingertips, elbows straight, and release back down. And now we are going to lace the fingers together like so, really getting the webbing of the fingers intertwined here. And now I'm gonna press the hands out. Again, if you have a shoulder injury, again, I would recommend reaching the hands behind you like so. But for the rest of us, webbing the fingers together, pressing the palms out, rolling the shoulders back here, which can feel a little funky. And now pressing the hands up and out, up and out, up and out, as if you're stamping your hands on the ceiling. So the heels are heavy, but the hands are reaching, reaching, reaching. So it's almost like the roots of the tree are moving down, but the leaves are reaching up towards the sun. And lowering down. And now this is the tricky part. You're going to switch the webbing of the hands. So a different pinky is at the bottom. So see if you can do that. This again will feel a little funky. It's not the way we usually probably would interlace our fingers, but it's nice to balance it out. So again, pressing the hands out in front of you, rolling the shoulders back, and reaching up, 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 up. Heels are heavy, but chest is lifted and you're getting length through the whole side body. So it's almost like your arms are lifting your ribs up as your hands press into the ceiling and lowering your arms down. And now let's try a different arm movement now. So this time, you're going to reach your arms out to the side. And now really reach through the fingertips. So feel like you've got one person, it's like tug a rope. You've got one person on this side pulling this arm. You've got another person on this side pulling this arm. And it's sort of it's a fair fight. They're pulling them really evenly. So you're getting a lot, what ends up happening is you get a lot of spreading through the front of the chest. And you're going to turn your palms upward, and not just the palms, but the whole arm. And lift the arms up again. Reaching up through the fingertips and lowering the arms up out wide. Palms down. Lowering back down to Tadasana. Okay, let's try that one more time. So reaching the arms out to the side. And again, get that tug going. So someone's reaching on this side. Someone's pulling on this side. But they're actually pulling perfectly evenly. So you just end up having a deep stretch through the front of the spine, through the arms, through the fingertips. And now turn the whole arms up and out. So the palms are facing the ceiling. And lift the arms up to a Y if that's your maximum for your shoulders, or all the way up to your ears. Breathing in and out, and lowering the arms back down. All right, and we can just roll the shoulders back a few times, forward a few times. Hopefully there's no tension that you built up while doing that. Hopefully you're actually feeling a lot of energy percolating in the chest, and hopefully you're feeling a little bit taller than when we started already. So now we're going to walk our feet out to about 4 feet wide. You want to feel like you're not so far out that it's like, how do I stay standing? But you do want, you don't want to kind of almost be standing like your usual. So I think 4 feet can be like a nice reference point, but do what works for your body. And you're gonna reach out through your outer feet here. So you're really standing up on both feet. And again, pressing down through both heels. Remember when I kind of called those like spikes. So you're staking your heels down into the ground here and still maintaining that lifted chest. And now we'll reach our arms out to the side. So we really have all our limbs reaching in their own directions here. It's like that famous painting, right? With the symmetrical man. So are both arms reaching evenly? Are both feet reaching evenly? Is the head lifted up? And pretty much all of us are not even on all our sides. So chances are there's small differences that you might feel. Lowering the arms, walk the feet in. Okay, now we can try it. If you don't have any knee or hip issues, you can try jumping. If you do have knee or hip issues, do not jump. Just walk back out. But otherwise, you can place your hands in front of you like this, bend your knees, and jump. Nice. So we can try that again. Now I thought you know where I'm going with it. So placing your hands in front of you, bending your knees, and jump. This is the part where my teacher usually reminds us that, kids actually have fun while they do things like this. Usually as adults, we're sort of not as used to being playful in this way, but hopefully you can awaken your inner child and enjoy jumping as high and as big as you can. Reaching through the fingers, standing tall. Now you're going to place your hands on your hips and turn the toes out on one side like this. And as you turn that foot out, check. Did the knee turn as well? Did the hip turn as well? So I'll come a little bit closer and show you this way. So you're turning the whole, see the knee is moving as well, so it is truly facing in front of you here. But your hips don't move with it. Your hips stay square. So let's try that on the other side as well. So you're turning the foot, the knee, and the hip out, but you're still facing forward. Okay? So turning back in, and now let's try it a couple times on each side. So turning the foot, knee, and hip out. Still facing forward and lifting the chest. Turning the toes in. And now again, toes, knees, hip, turning out just on one side. And coming back to center. Now, again, if you're walking in, walk in. Don't push it if you've gotten your hip issues, but for the rest of us, let's jump back in as high as we can. There you go. Okay, so now we're going to keep building on this. So reaching your hands out and jump. And we're going to turn the toes, the knee, the hip out like so. Raise one arm up, the same arm as like that turned out. And you're going to reach out in front of you. So again, remember that tug of war? Imagine someone's pulling your arm out to the side, as far as it will go. Pressing through that back heel so they don't, pull you all the way over. You're pressing through that back heel, but reaching through this front arm as far as you can go today. Once you kind of hit your max, drop your hand down to your leg. Press through both feet. Turn your spine as much as you can to lift it up towards the room in front of you. And now just gently gaze down at the mat. Reaching through that back heel, reaching through the top of the head to lengthen even more through the front chest. Inhale, put your hands on your hips, coming back to center, turning both feet in, and let's try the other side. So that was triangle pose. So let's try the other side. So turning the left foot out, knee and hip. And now again, we're planting that back heel so that we don't get pulled forward. We don't get, yanked forward, right? This heel needs to reach back and down. And as it does that, though, we're imagining someone is pulling our arm as far as it will go. And once it's kind of gone to the max, without totally collapsing in the chest, right? So you're still lengthening. Once you've lengthened to the max, lower the hand down, turn the chest forward, and you can gaze down gently at the mat in front of you. As you breathe here, press through that back heel, reach through the head, turn the chest a little bit more. And now to come up, press extra through that back heel, turn the toes in, and if you have it in you, let's jump our feet back in together. Or walk them, of course, is a fine option. Great. Okay, so let's check the time. We've got a few more minutes. So we'll do a quick sequence here. So we're going to actually start from downward dog on one side here. So you press your hands into the ground, reach your hips back, starting in downward dog. And now you're going to bring your the foot that's closest to the back of the mat forward into a lunge, pressing your back leg strong and straight. And now you're going to lift up, reach your fingertips to the back of the room as you reach your chest in front of you. Taking a few deep breaths here. You're going to turn that back foot down. So it's now pressing into the ground, and rest your elbow onto that knee. And now reach through those top fingers. So you're getting a really nice long line here. From here, hopefully you're not too confused yet. There's a lot of moving parts. From here, we're going to rock the hips back to straighten this bottom knee and come back to triangle pose. Now we're going to rock the knee forward again, rest the elbow. And now let's see if we can come up to warrior two. So keeping that bottom knee bent, come up. So your spine is lifted. And you can try to get a 90-degree angle here. Just go as much as you can for today. Reaching through your fingers. Now straighten that bottom leg. Turn your toes forward. and turn the other foot out. And now come into warrior two on that other side. So bending that other leg now to 90 degrees. Resting your elbow onto the knee here, reaching through that back heel. Come into triangle pose. So I'm doing everything in reverse now. Reaching into that bottom heel, reaching through the top of the head to have a long spine. And now let's bend that knee again, keeping the back leg nice and straight. Rest the elbow on the knee and reach that back heel down and the front fingers, the top arm out long. So you can see I have a really nice long angle here from the heel through the fingertips. All right. Now coming back, I think, to one more triangle pose. Bending that knee again, reaching through the fingertips. And now you're going to turn your hips to face the other side of the mat. And keeping that front knee bent, reaching through the back heel, coming into this really active lunge. So the arms are reaching behind you, the chest is lifted in front of you. And at last, you can place your hands on the ground, reach through that back heel again to really straighten it and get a nice deep hip stretch here. And press into downward dog. So nice job. We did one full cycle. You can walk your feet out a little bit. Come down into child's pose for a few breaths. So I think we have time to do that once more, a little bit of a simpler version. So let's try it. So pressing into downward dog and stepping forward into a lunge. Reaching that back heel in front of you and bending deeply through that front leg. Now coming up. This time we're going to reach our arms up to kind of have this standing diagonal. And now drop that back heel down to come into this side bend. Straighten that leg to come into the triangle pose. Pressing through that back heel, come up to standing. Turn the other foot, knee, hip out. And coming into the triangle pose again on this side. Pressing through that back heel as you bend the front knee. Reach through the top arm. And now we're going to turn our hips forward and reach up through the arms to really get a lot of length through the spine. Drop your hands down. Press into downward dog. And walk your feet in. Place your hands on your hips. Come back up to standing. And now just to even ourselves out, because we are going side, 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 you're going to walk your feet out like so. And come and bend forward. And depending on your flexibility, I'll give you a few options. So if you have a lot of flexibility in the back of your legs, you can bend forward like this and then walk your hands into your feet and drop the head down like so. If that is like totally not going to happen, which is no problem at all, find a couch or a chair or whatever, and again, walk your feet out wide and just rest like so. You can just hold your elbows and rest your head onto any piece of furniture that you can find. So yeah, you could do it on a table as well. I have a table over here. I can just rest like this. So the key is that your legs are wide and you're sort of bending forward in a restful position. All right. So hopefully you found a good piece of furniture, or if you feel like you're almost there, you know, in this way you could get a prop and just kind of rest your head like that. That's another option. Giving you a bunch of options. Hopefully you found something that's comfortable and you can stay down there for a few breaths. You can even close your eyes in this position. Hopefully your head is feeling heavy as it rests down. Breathing in, letting your head be heavy, and your brain sort of let go of all of that complicated back and forth we did, and enjoying the spreading and the symmetry of the pose you're in now, whether you're resting your head on a desk or on a couch or on a chair or on a pillow. That's all good. And now when you're ready, you can place your hands on your hips, come back up to standing, walk your legs in, come down to the floor. So for this, when you're sitting on the floor, I often like to sit up on a blanket or pillow. So I just have this old couch blanket here I'm going to sit on, so that it's a little bit more comfortable and easier to have a lifted spine when you're sitting on something. And now I'm going to press my hands into the ground, a little bit behind me, lift the chest, and reach through the heels. So my legs are straight, they're pressing down into the ground. My chest is lifted. Taking a few deep breaths here. You can reach the arms up to get even more lift through the whole back. And lowering the arms down. And now we are going to bend the one knee here. And now lift the opposite arm up. Inhale, and as you exhale, hook the elbow onto the knee and turn. So I'll show you a little bit of a diagonal, so hopefully it's clear. So you bend one knee, reach up with the opposite arm, and exhale, hook the knee against the elbow, and use that to turn. So the knee is pressing into the elbow is pressing into the knee, and the result is that you're kind of using that to turn your spine as much as it will go. So as you inhale, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. And as you exhale, see if you can turn just a little bit more. Turning the lower back, the lower abdomens, turning the middle ribs, turning the upper back. And release. And now go to the other side here. I'll make myself on an angle just so you can see it clearly, but you don't have to. So bending the other leg, press your hand down behind you so your chest becomes really lifted and your spine is tall. You're reaching through that upper arm. And exhale, hook the elbow onto the knee. So now again, the knee is pressing into the elbow is pressing into the knee, and the result is that it's helping you to turn. So turn the lower belly, the middle ribs, the upper ribs. Inhale, lift a little bit more. Exhale, turn a little bit more. And coming back to middle, straighten both legs. Press the hands behind you. Lift the chest again. And then we're going to do a similar twist, just with one small difference. So this time, you're going to bend the first Well, no, you're going to bend the first knee, but bring the other foot in. So the heel is near your bum and your knee is bent like so. And then you're going to walk that foot over the knee like so. If it feels like there's strain on your knee or your hips are really unbalanced like that and it's just hard to get comfortable here, you can sit up onto something higher, see if that helps. If it doesn't, or that's not on the cards, you can just stick with the original version, just with the normal bent leg. But otherwise, you can try this kind of pretzel version, like so. So the bottom knee is bent, the foot is stepped over that knee like this. And this time we're gonna hold onto the knee like this and use that to twist. So again, inhale, opposite arm is reaching up. Exhale, turn the chest. Inhale, lift the chest up a little bit more. Exhale and turn. So hopefully this actually feels nice in the hips and open in the back after all the movement that we did today. You can even grab onto the belly and remind it to turn this way. So you can grab onto your belly, turn it to help turn the whole front of the body around. And release. So walk your foot out to the other side, straighten both legs. And now we're going to bend the other foot in. And now walk the upright knee here over that bottom knee. Again, if you're feeling knee pain, hip pain, you feel like you're really unbalanced, it doesn't feel right, you can just have this top knee bent, but the bottom knee can be straight, okay? So otherwise, if you're going for the pretzel approach, lift up evenly through both sides of the waist, reach up through the opposite arm, and exhale to turn. So again, you're grabbing the outside of the leg here and using it as leverage. So you're pressing the knee into the arm into the knee, pulling yourself up and around. And again, you can take your hand on your lower belly and turn it around. So turning that lower belly, turning the middle ribs, turning the upper ribs, lifting the chest up. And again, hopefully you're feeling a nice deep stretch in the hips and a nice soothing turn in the back. And now come back to forward, straighten both knees gently and slowly. Sitting with both feet in front of you, with the knees straight, lifting through the chest again here. And just observing your body after doing all the things that we did today. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit more energized and like there is energy flowing through your whole body. But hopefully you're also ready to come back to a bit of a calmer state, a less active state now. So we can turn to lie back down. You can hold the backs of your knees here and curl your thumb under until your arms are straight. And then slide your hands down as you lower the spine gently here. And now we're going to lift up the hips and reach the arms back behind us and lower the arms and hips down. Let's just do that 2 more times. So lifting the hips, reaching the arms out and lowering back down. And that last time, really reaching through the whole body here. So the knees reach in front of you, the arms reach back, and lowering back down. And if this is a comfortable way to stay for you, that's fine. But you can also try the typical Shavasana. So You can straighten one leg in front of you, straighten the other leg. Now let the legs relax, so the toes will probably naturally fall out to the side. And now turn your palm up on one side and roll that shoulder down your back. Do the same, roll the shoulder back and down and turn the palm out to the side. So hopefully you feel like you're lying in a very even and comfortable, supported way here. If anything feels a little funky, take the time to adjust it. So you can move your buttocks out of the way here. You can massage your neck a little bit here if you need to. But once you've found a comfortable place, you can lower your eyelids or even close your eyes if you're comfortable doing so. And let your body release and surrender. After all of that hard work, release through your legs. Release through your hands, your arms, your shoulders. Let your head be heavy. Let your whole body feel heavy in the ground. And bringing your attention back to that smooth inhalation and that smooth exhalation. Smooth inhalation and smooth exhalation. Smooth inhalation. Smooth, soft exhalation. Enjoying this moment of quiet. So often we are bombarded, our senses are bombarded, whether it's by screens and images or sounds out in the city, honking horns and just noisy surroundings, construction site, whatever the case may be. So just enjoy this quiet for your ears, quiet for your eyes, softness in your nerves. Release through your tongue. And enjoy this short moment of quiet for your senses. Place your hands on your heart to tap into your inner source of gratitude here. You can bend both of your knees, roll over to your right side. Pressing yourself up to sit. You can keep your eyes soft or closed here, placing your hands at your heart. Hopefully you can feel a little bit of gratitude for giving yourself this time to check in with yourself physically, maybe a little bit mentally, emotionally, energetically, all of the above. Thank you so much for coming. Hope you enjoyed this practice. Namaste. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.